Hello, friends. Very good morning, good afternoon, and very good evening to all of you. Once again, welcome back. Today, I've got a complete different topic for you, uh, an application of Disciplined Agile for non-software. You know what? Sometimes even I also wonder, this Disciplined Agile world, is it only used for software development? And a lot of my colleagues from my industry, I know a few weeks back I was talking to some people in Reliance Industries, some people in Pyramid Group, and some more customers who were actually doing a traditional, or waterfall model. So we were just, I was just happened to discuss with them the generic project management life cycle that we all follow, right? Forget about software industry for a while. In generic, let's talk about the mineral water bottle plant, the Parley Industries. Let's say Ramesh Chauhan of the world, he wants to build a new, refinery altogether within the Parley, a completely diversified game. Okay, and if he wants to build diversify from the mineral bottle plant which he has in top to in Himachal Pradesh, and you want to set up a new plant. Can I just use agile methods? So that brought to a conversation that for the first answer was no, just like how you guys might be feeling right now. Oh no, that's stupid thought, right? Yeah, but that stupid thought gave me a boost saying that, okay, how do I look at it? But can't I just apply it? So we started working, doing, I started doing my own research. And thanks to the, the great world of agility, primarily, prima facie, and then of course the discipline agile, which gave me enough confidence saying that if you have a right mindset, if you have right people on the job, and if you have a right process aspect of it, right, you know the workflow, how to build your entire project, you know the life cycle of the project. It's just that you need to, you know, put up a topping or put up a icing on the cake. And that icing is a world of discipline agile, guys. So welcome back once again, and I warm welcome you. My quick 30 minutes conversation followed by Q&A. So if you have if you have questions, please keep it with you or keep typing in the question panel. Chat panels by default are disabled. I am on my data card, guys. So I'm sorry I'm not able to put my video on. But yeah, I would like to conserve my bandwidth. So next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about a case study today on discipline agile. Another kind of a case where we will go beyond, the information technology or a software development aspect. Okay, and we'll apply discipline agile. So quickly, my introduction. About 25, 26 years now in the IT industry primarily. And it's not just that, maybe across various disciplines. So happened to work on some of the construction projects, some of the power projects as well in the past, and then work with various organizations, right? Agenda for the day today, very quick introduction that we did. Quick recap on discipline agile that I'm going to do. So in case you guys have not been able to get through your discipline agile stuff, then probably it's a good opportunity for you to have a quick recap or a quick catch up on what discipline agile is all about. DA principles, a case study and Q&A. Short agenda. My major focus for 20 minutes is going to be only on the case studies today. Okay, so let's begin. This is my favorite slide, and probably many of you would have seen this slide in the past when I presented this discipline agile concept, right, in the past. And the whole reason that I've got this very generic slide and a very important slide introducing Disciplined Agile, and especially when it's related to the entire corporate, not just the IT department, but all the other departments as well, right? So this slide is extremely important, and this is nothing but a metaphor. So I'm going to explain you about a metaphor today. Okay, let's assume, all of us, let's assume that your organization is like this tractor. Okay, a very heavy, high duty machine with a great engine capability that the organization is driving. Let's not worry about whether it's IT organization, whether it's a BFSI sector, whether it's telecom organization. Let's not worry about that. Think about an organization. So this is where your organization stands for, right? Now, going backwards to the agile days in 2001. Okay, I'm not talking about disciplined agile. I'm talking about agile right now. Okay, so going back to 2001, the agilists have been quite heavily focused finding the ways to improve how the software should be developed. So they have developed so many strategies so far, right? For example, they do a regular meetings, regular demonstrations. They have a product owners who are reviewing the products. There are the backlog reviews. The development regression testing happens, retrospective happens, incremental releases happens, and so on and so forth, to have ensure that there is a working software which give a incremental value delivery. I'll repeat, incremental value delivery to a stakeholder. Okay, I hope you understand that. That can include everything in terms of the integration, system integration test driven development, continuous documentation, continuous deployment, CI/CD pipeline, for example, measured improvement, incremental release, and whatnot. This is a part of your software development plus software improvement part, right? This is where you guys have done you guys have an expertise, right? DAD. So the DAD layer, which we call it as a disciplined agile delivery, comes where you have got a beautiful, nice, car engine developed and improved over the period of time. What happens, guys? We see too many agile teams who on their own doing a great job in isolations. So a company, for example, let's say JP Morgan might have multiple software development teams across multiple BUs. Being an ex-JP Morgan guy, I know that my organization had got 6 BUs, 6 business units in the past. Every BU would have its own software development team, right? For example, treasury services would have its own software development. We call TSS Tech or WSS Tech now. IB Tech, investment banking guys, would have an IB Tech team, right? FCOE, Finance Center of Excellence, would have a FinTech, and so on and so forth. Every software development team would do their respective job, building this beautiful engine. That's where your DAD comes through at the bottom level of the entire layer structure of Disciplined Agile. I'm trying to introduce Disciplined Agile in a nutshell now. But you know what happens? All the individual teams keep working individually. And this is particularly true in the enterprises one where the operations are continuing for decades. That organization have become very large organization, and the development team probably might just work within their own cocoons, and they don't go beyond. They generally don't go beyond their own cocoon, trying to coordinate with the corporate hierarchies. Think about it, right? This is where this so beautiful engine, it becomes a challenging for them to fit into this organization tractor. So this entire tractor that you see here, right, is the organization. Now, can I put this engine in this tractor? What will happen? This is a small racing car engine. This is a small racing car engine. I can't fit this into this. It's not possible. What we really need is a racing car, isn't it? What we really need is a racing car. So to ensure that the racing car engine goes within the racing car, we not only need this team, but we need some additional teams as well. So we come across the beautiful terminology called DevOps, right? At times we bog down too much by the organizational environment, right? And this is especially true in the established enterprises where you have multiple departments, even within their software development. You will have a developer, you'll have a QA, you have a tester, and whatnot, right? So ultimately, what you need is a integration of a development plus operations both together seamlessly, so that the development community can talk to the operations and the operations team, and then seamlessly work so that my racing car engine perfectly fits into the racing car. Is this sufficient? The answer is no. That's not sufficient either. Just like a racing car needs a driver and a pit crew to operate it, your DevOps strategy in the organization is a part of overall IT strategy, isn't it? It's a part of overall IT governance approach, which is based on a traditional thinking, right? So you might have a multiple quality gates, review gates, right? And you have your IT team, right, which is supporting you. So you need a team to support. You need a team to support your car. You need a team to fix the pits. You need a team to change the tires. You need to team to, if the car breakdowns in racing, now to the 5-6 guys quickly come up and help the car succeed. That's where you need a disciplined agile IT. In the conclusion, is this sufficient? And the answer is still not. It is not still enough. A race car, right, and the team will be of a less value if you don't have the sponsor sponsoring the game, sponsoring the organization, sponsoring the project, sponsoring the programs that you do. So you need F1 kit. You need a sponsor, which is nothing but business units. Guys, welcome to the world of Disciplined Agile. This is the most important crux of Disciplined Agile, where Disciplined Agile promises you go beyond the traditional world of software development, where you are within the parlance of organization, right? And go across the whole organization. So today, what I thought, I'll just give you a small analogy of this discipline agile metaphor, right? What is a discipline agile? I'm not going to spend time on this. I would probably presume that many of you know it, those who are not, right, aware about it. It's a beautiful agnostic hybrid. I'll repeat, agnostic hybrid approach towards the project, I would rather say, okay, towards the project development. I will never use a word called software development, okay? So discipline agile can be a top layer on any of the technique framework or a model that you use. Whether you are using a Scrum, you use Kanban, you use lean Kanban, you use RUP. Those, my 20 years back, I remember my RUP days from IBM, whereby we used to have this rational unified planning, and that kind of development truly brought the world of agile. So all these things are absolutely needed. DA doesn't replace anybody. DA sits on top of, even in terms of on top of SAFe, right? Scaled agile, absolutely. Okay, that's a promise that DA gives. The only advantage that DA, as I mentioned, this car metaphor or a racing car metaphor, DA touch across or cross across the entire organization. And today, what I've done is I have got a typical case for you for a discussion. DA application for non-software development. So thanks to a great mentors that I had, and they have a website processmentor.com. So I picked up few cues out of it, very nicely written, and I'm going to bring this to you today. So disciplined agile for non-software development using a case. I'm going to talk about one particular scenario whereby we have picked up a procurement function. Procurement function in a non-IT organization. For that matter, you can pick up any kind of procurement function, right? So, and I'm going to explain you how this entire DA can actually work, use your scaled up methodology and scale it up from bottom to top. And how do I so namely just apply this across the layer, not just procurement department. So let's begin. All right. So the quick question, can an agile way of working, the way of working is a word used in disciplined agile, most of you would know. Can that be used to deliver value not related to software? And my primary answer is yes. There are a lot of critics to it. I know that there are a lot of critics, or probably there are a lot of folks who are not aware of this, that this cannot be applied. And those who are not aware, this is an eye opener for all of them. It was eye opener for me also, right? My first assumption or the bias, sorry, this is a stupid thought. It is only meant for software development. But the way I studied the entire way of working book of Disciplined Agile as a part of my certification exam, my eyes also got opened. And that's what made me do more research into one of the classic case like this, which last time couple of sessions on Disciplined Agile webinar, I covered up a couple of case studies, right? Yes. So this is probably the third one that I'm covering up. Little different manner altogether. So in my experience, it's resounding yes. DA definitely can be used, and we'll prove it. How? So let's begin. Procurement function. I don't need to explain you this function in any of the organization, right? Whatever you get is you use purchase function, procurement function. You might use the administrative function or a department, whichever way, right? A buyer and a seller relationship is the name of the game here primarily. So let's begin. Shreya. This is the kind of a role that I'm going to use. A Shreya was a point of contact in the procurement department at a large organization. Okay, it could be you. It's not just Shreya. It could be you as well. The DA adoption. She heard about this first of all, and she thought that DA. What is DA all about? So, like many of you might be stumped with the DA initially when you were new to the Disciplined Agile world, or some of you might be still new to the Disciplined Agile world. DA adoption. What is this all about? First of all, Agile. How Agile? So Shreya wasn't even probably been aware of how the normal agility or the agile way of working is being utilized in the company or being used in the company by the software development team. But she was so committed towards her own development, she really got interested. And she thought that, why don't I use it for my function? She was part of procurement. So let's see what happens to Shreya. One of the first teams, right, that was transitioning to agile way of working would have a mix of employees and contractors, right? From not only from IT department, but from procurement and finance as well. That was a whole thought process. Shreya was observer. It was the year that Shreya was to observe and participate in supporting a team. She was supposed to support a software development team working and trying to improve on the way of working on the agile part, right? So the team used to have the Scrum methodology as usual. 75% of the organizations use Scrum methodologies today in the agile world. So the team, used to software development team were relatively new to the Scrum way, but they're just trying to get through it. Now, Shreya wasn't even aware what Agile is. She thought that I'll just observe, won't ask any question. So for few days, she just observed how software development team works using Scrum methodology and trying to improve themselves, first of all. Forget about Shreya's own improvement. Look what happens now. Due to her role in the procurement section, she was included because she was supporting function, isn't it? That software development team needed a procurement specialist for sure, right? It's not like you are a part of a software development team working on agile project. That means you do not need a support from the finance and procurement, etc., and legal. Of course you need. And that's exactly what I wanted to prove right now to end of the session today. She was included in a foundational training courses that these guys also were going through. Very basic courses, not advanced at all, or not even the kind of little more complicated. Absolutely basic courses as a part of a learning curve. The team was starting to use the Scrum life cycle, right? Which all of you know very well. I'm not going to introduce, spend my time on what is your iteration planning, what is the product backlog, all those things. I'm assuming you all very well know. So team was using the Scrum life cycle, and Shreya primarily observed some of the recurring events. I call it as ceremonies. You guys know ceremonies or events, right? A stand-up meeting, your review meeting, your retrospective meetings, and so on and so forth. Whether you call it as iteration, you want to call it iteration review, iteration retrospective, etc., or whichever way you want to name it. So initially the iteration reviews, or you can say sprint review in the world of Scrum, could use that sprint review. Initially sprint reviews or iteration review, she attended as an observer, right? During iteration planning, not only just a iteration reviews, but planning also she part of it. She also started attending the daily stand-up meetings, which happens 15 minutes a day. She was seeing how this new way of working was different than her own traditional method. What could be her own traditional method? Simple. Get the bill of materials, okay? Ask for the quotes, understand what need to be purchased, try to analyze the quotes, work with the project team, right? Try to ensure that whatever quotations or proposals have been submitted by the respective vendors or the partners would pretty much be okay for the project team to deliver the projects. Okay, let's talk about my own experience in the past. Just give me just give a moment. I'll pour in my experience here, right? In the past, when I used to be working with one of the European companies, a great company, and we used to have 9 different Scrum teams, and we used to use the Scaled Agile as well. Not only just Scrum, but we used to use Scaled Agile as well. It was Scrum of Scrums. And this, how all of a sudden, one of the teams demanded for dual monitor. Now, this kind of a very simple ask, and you might thought that would be very easy, right? So we had a centralized procurement function or a purchase function who back to back would work with the finance teams to ensure that there is a procurement budgets, and the respective budgets are approved only once in a year. I'll hold back my example, move forward, and take my example also forward. Okay. There was a need by one Scrum team, 9-member team primarily. In fact, it was 9 teams were across geography, 9-member team, 9 teams. 81 people overall, and the Scrum methodology for the new requirements. Just hold back for a while. Requirement is second dual monitored. Okay, and overall it was for all 81 people we planned for. How does this go? If it was a traditional procurement function, the process that I explained you exactly that will happen. In Agile, how will this go? Just give me a moment. We'll prove it. So what happens next? Like many of the corporate functions, finance functions, legal function, procurement function, that need to change because they are supporting, right? They're supporting. So that means they also need to change the way the software development team works. If not, then the software development team need to change their approach, simple, to the traditional life cycle of the project, which is not bad. A traditional waterfall, if that agile, if Scrum is not really been digested, it's not a hard and fast rule, guys, to have the only agile way of working in place there. You can always fall back to the traditional world. Who's asking you? Who's forcing you? Nobody. But it was important. The organization realized that the respective functions should become business agile. I'm not introducing business agility. I'm presuming you all know. They should become business agile in today's parlance. Shreya's department also felt the same. And thanks to her lead, she was leading the procurement team. Thanks to her lead, this particular thing or this particular case could happen in front of you. After some time had passed, her understanding of how agile is different, because she used to be a daily part of daily stand-up, daily the weekly iteration reviews, etc. There were weekly iterations and the retrospective. She was part of that. She understood these are different. She asked management, why don't we do the same thing or rather similar thing in procurement function also across the respective locations within procurement? She took up a lead, the first business unit taking up a lead apart from the IT department in that company, in that non-IT or end user organization, convinced the management that she will take a lead as a product owner and she will start ball rolling. She got approval, right? 90% plus management wouldn't mind doing the experimentation life cycle like this. You know what I mean? They won't mind. It just need a proper business case. She managed that. What happens now? One of the next initiative, that means next endeavor, next project which is coming up, that would adopt Agile. She was very firm onto it. And that project was re-platforming a large legacy product onto a technology that was new to the organization. Give an example of this kind of product. I'm not sure if you all have understood a railway reservation system, typically in India. I reside in India, so I know, and I am very close to this project. There's a system called irctc.co.in. If you look at a railway reservation, okay, in the old days it used to be mainframe technology. From mainframe came to mini, and mini came to client server technology. This project, for example, when you talk about legacy product, either changing from mainframe to client server or a client server changing the platform to cloud. I'll repeat, a legacy product like client server changing to the cloud. It was a repurposing and replatforming a large legacy product into the new world of the platform or a new platform altogether. This would need not single team, but multiple teams for sure. And that multiple teams would be also cross-functional teams and a new vendor or vendors, as none of the current vendors had existing expertise with a large technology stack, which is going to be used, or probably for that matter, in our example, the cloud tech stack, because all are glued to client server technologies. So what happens? Shreya, as a role, as a procurement lead, saw this strategic opportunity to revise the knowledge assets that she was been observing, right? That the development team. She was a part of those ceremonies. She also took a learning path and the courses. Of course, she was responsible for all this RFI, RFP that you know of. A very typical, procurement organization would use these words: request for information, proposal, request for bids, etc., etc. Right? Based on our interaction with the team that adopted Agile, she could identify many changes that are going to be required. Guys, understand, you are going to put up a legacy product. The project is to convert the platform altogether. Product remain the same, your application might remain the same, but your platform changes altogether. It is not just going to be a incremental improvement. So it was supposed to be a complete repurposing. Lots of improvements needed. Complete repurposing. So many changes were required to be done. Right? Now, the regular procurement process of that I explained you for Shreya will not work. Hence, there is a huge transformation required in terms of new approach, new set of documents, new processes altogether for Shreya. It was hard job. It was tough job, no doubt about it. But she was determined enough. She was quite determined enough to take this challenge. And of course, she had her own procurement team and she had a support from IT team. IT team, as I told you, right? They involved her in everything. Now she was a learned person. To really be fit for the purpose, right? What they needed a transformation. And how the transformation comes? Next 5 minutes. Senior leadership, the cycle starts now. Senior leadership approved the decision of Shreya and her department to adopt the Agile lifecycle to deliver the new vendor management assets. And they have absolutely kicked off. The project kicked off. Similar to a software development project using the Agile lifecycle, she also started with the inception phase. Those who are not aware, 3 phases to an Agile: inception, construction, transition. Inception, that means you have a project. First of all, you have a business case, justification, sponsorship, approvals, etc. That's your initiation phase or inception phase, you call it as in Agile. Construction phase or a development phase where you actually get your project development done. In the world of IT, you will have a software development or IT department, you'll have a software development. For procurement, you'll have a own development of the respective processes, development of a new templates, new tools. I remember I used to use a nice tool called Areva. I don't know if you guys have used this kind of a beautiful software called Areva. It's a nice workflow based tool. And you think it's a software development project? So come on, guys, not really. It's a procurement driven project. It's a procurement life cycle, that Areva. And when software development is a part of it, right? But the basic build of an entire process flow is through the procurement team. And that's exactly the crux. I was few weeks back, I was running in my mind, how do I take this webinar and explain you this? That guys, software development agility, it doesn't is not different than a procurement function or a finance function agility. Your mindset is required, and we'll just prove it in a while. She started with inception phase. So inception, construction, transition. Transition meaning you transition to either the DevOps team or a support team. Today you have a DevOps team working together as a part of construction phase. So transition just happened directly to the support team. Anyway, in world of Agile, there's a word called MBI. the first cut value, the most valuable piece of your entire product, which takes least least incremental time of yours, minimum business increment. Well, you may call it as a one feature or a group of features. So here Shreya took the minimum business increment model or a metaphor in the used in IT, in this IT department, in our IT teams. She decomposed into the multiple features, and then each of the feature into the multiple stories. And you might believe, you would not believe how would have happened. I'm going to show you right away. Right? So she developed a release plan for procurement using agile methodology that center on understanding of flow of work. You see the lean word coming through? Workflow or flow of work? Yes. And how she, as a product owner, would need to consider her backend functions. IT backend could be finance, IT backend could be procurement. Her backend function obviously could be HR, could be legal, could be finance, etc. And her forward or front end function was, of course, the show you something now. Like the features in the software product, each one of a document, I'll repeat, like a feature in the software product, in your mobile, you have a feature called take a photo. I want to take a photo. You have a feature, right? So you write a user story. I'm not going to get into that kind of stuff right now. Don't worry about it. Like that, you have in procurement, she said, okay, what kind of features do I have? So she said, okay, one document or a template, okay, or a group of documents can become a single template. I'll take it as a minimum business increment. One template I'll build, I get a feedbacks from my customers, and then I keep building the multiple templates. So the minimum functionality required for the business users, I keep building it. And then over the multiple iterations, every iteration of 1 week, so I take one template, build 1 week, which have a set of features or a set of those user stories, which I'm coming to, right? And then each particular cycle would go through, as a part of the release plan, would go through the reviews, each of this cycle, and it'll be reviewed. Feedback will be given, and the feedback will be incorporated in your next iteration. So I'll have a feedback on my templates. It could be one same template or multiple template. It could be one document within a template. It could be multiple documents within the one single template. Right? Not so different, right? Not so different altogether from a software development. Take this example of a software development. Very quickly, how do you look at the user stories and the features? So you have a minimum business requirement, a minimum business increment developed as initial release of the first direct to consumer product, right? In European and APAC markets, target outcome, direct to consumer sales sales of $25 million of that kind of revenue in the first half of 2020. To achieve this, right, I would also call minimum marketable features. I break it down into the list of features that I want or I can prioritize up to. So for example, features could be customer can set up an account for the purchases. Customer can search for a product and purchase the product. You have a typical search button on your Amazon, isn't it? Content managers can create and maintain, product information like just Amazon website you have. Brand managers can set up and analyze promotions like Amazon, again, right? Integration and inventory of the fulfillment systems, backend of Amazon, right, which goes through. Each of this feature, I call it as a minimum marketable feature within that give you a highest value to the stakeholders through MBI. Each of the feature can be again broken up into stories. For my dear colleagues of a traditional world, This is nothing but your WBS. Work breakdown structure. You have a project at the top, then you have a phases. Every phase has been divided into deliverables, deliverable to sub-deliverable, sub-deliverable to work packages. Remember? This is just like that. You have your MBI, and then you have multiple features. Each of the feature get into the stories. Each story, for example, customer can search for a product. I need that feature in my product and purchase it. So stories could be, as a customer, I want to search for the product. As a customer, I want to select my product. As a customer, I want to review the product information. As a customer, I want to be presented with the similar products to do a comparison, right? So and so forth. I'm not going to read for all this. This is a typical software development scenario. Those who are not quite aware about this, how this development works in the agile format, in the software development or IT team, this is how it works with this example. Now let's go back to Shreya. What Shreya would have done, learning from this, what Shreya would have done, very similar thing. And guys, you also can do it. Okay, very simple. Come on, let's understand this. Same breakup, but for Shreya's department now. So my MBI, as a stakeholder, ask that give you highest value for them, select an onboard of vendor supporting this in the re-platforming initiative using a agile way of working, utilizing these procurement templates, right? So what could be the features expected? One, your services agreement. Absolutely. Some of you might understand as a master services agreement template. Okay. Second template could be RFI, request for information. I need some product. There is a new product available, new services available in the market. So I'll release RFI. Please, guys, my potential vendors, give me the information for your products and services which are available with you in the market. You have a third template possible for request for proposal. This is a typical bid document, right? This is a typical bid document, RFP. And then you have a multiple features like I want proposal evaluation matrix. Once the proposals are submitted by those respective vendors or potential to be vendors, then vendor proposals, down select notification, right? Vendor contract is been built and vendor performance measures. Don't you think this itself in terms of features is a workflow? Top down is nothing but like a finish to start, sequential kind of activities, work packages, deliverables in a traditional flow. Come on, guys, it's the same thing. Now what I do, I call each of these as a feature. For example, RFP. Okay, I divide my feature called RFP in my procurement documentation or templates to multiple stories, just like this software stories. I have a procurement story. Why not? I just say as a role. Which role? As a product manager. I want to convey the background of the initiative. I'm a product owner. Fair. So product owner, product manager, I will just communicate this, especially product managers. Then as a procurement specialist, I want to develop the work statement, like your scope of work for the potential vendors to bid, so that they are clear what they're going to bid against, what features they are going to be expected to be delivered. As a product manager, I want to develop the statement of objective to convey the desired outcomes. As a vendor manager, I want to establish the personal human being requirements. How many people? So that they can staff it properly. As a vendor manager, I want to articulate the business information from my product owner. Sorry, guys. From my product owner, right? Back to my respective potential vendors. As a procurement specialist, I want to request for the post or the past performance, of the respective. Don't you do this? As a part of selection criteria for the potential vendors, you don't do this? Of course, you do all this as a part of your RFP. Similarly, I can have a multiple user stories which can define my template for RFI. This is exactly what Shreya started. Shreya started with this one RFP as a template, did 1 week. She took a week time of iteration did iteration review apart from iteration planning, right, and daily coordination, and she worked with their respective business counterparts and IT team back to back. And then she managed to achieve the minimum business agreement of all the features one by one. One by one. And do you think it was so easy? Nothing is easy, my friends, in life. She also had challenges, of course. Took time, but organization sponsorship was there, right? So nothing is different. So take up one particular feature in your, or one particular artifact in your organization department, break it up, and why not? So my last summary of this, lessons learned for me, guys, wrapping up this, very simple. First lesson, my discipline agile can just go beyond the software development portion. This proves, okay, this proves the above case or the role play could indicate how those using non-software work in their respective organizations and the departments can also adopt and adapt both. I would use both the words, adopt and adapt, both the words, lean and agile, lean and scrum. Right? They can use this. In a nutshell, DA can apply any domain across all the verticals and deliver. It's just that you need to understand what a DA is, understand the principles, get to the basics, get to the roots. Most welcome to do the certifications within the DA, right? And ProThoughts, of course, offers a good amount of certifications for sure, right? Letting you know about what a ProThoughts is all about, okay, in a while. But before that, this is my final statement. Need of an hour for you guys and me both to look at the existing organizational functions from a little different lens, little different eyesight, little different view, right? And make entire organization agile, just like a racing metaphor, a car racing. So there are some case study guys available on the Disciplined Agile website. The corporations, the companies who have actually adopted this approaches for their respective organization. For their respective companies, they have done Disciplined Agile. It's available on the website. Be freely be able to use it. Just search on that DA case studies, you'll get it. About us, very simple. We are a learning organization, right? We do not only just the classroom trainings on the various certifications offered by PMI, we also do online trainings. We have our e-learning portals as well. We have a corporate training. I'm a corporate trainer as well, by the way. Project management software is also available, of course, right? We call Project Insight. Classic, amalgamation of MS Project and your Jira Atlassian platform on the Agile front. So this is a Project Insight is like a combination of both. We have a consulting services as a consulting department. That also, fortunately, I look at it. And we have a rich content website. You could probably go through a website called, there are multiple websites, of course, apart from ProThoughts.co.in. We have something called talkprojectmanagement.com, TALK, where you'll get lots of details. All the webinars which are been scheduled here and in future also been available over there. So you could probably go through it as well. Okay. There's a little bit of a background. We have a presence now in 4 countries and 6 cities in India now. Okay. Some of our recent recognitions coming through for the world of ProThoughts. Talkprojectmanagement.com, free for everybody, guys. Please leverage this opportunity. Go to the website and you'll find lots of information. Lots of information. You'll enjoy. Believe me. The only bookstore focused only on project management books. The only online bookstore. that's available here, apart from others. Agile certifications. So there are, so the world of PMI have got, I won't spend much time on this, but PMI have got, from an agility perspective, from a discipline agile world, they have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 certifications now towards their journey to discipline agile or the business agility. It starts from DSM, the basic level, we call discipline agile scrum master. Then there is a senior scrum master. Then there is the ACP, right? Agile, which you are all aware is existing ACP only, same certification. Now it's been rolled up. So in case you guys are having any question, how, if I am ACP certified, should I be a DA certified? And the answer is yes, of course, you should, because the ACP is going to be a part of the overall journey of a discipline agile certification or suit. Okay. Then there is a 2 high-level certification, right? At the little higher level, like your portfolio and program management level, you have a DA coach and you have a DA agile value stream consultant. So PMI will be offering this 2 certification probably next year. They've already started offering DSM and DSSM, and ProThoughts also have started offering both. ACP is already there. ProThoughts is already offering ACP, right? So, okay. ProThoughts also have got a LinkedIn group, so please stay connected. Visit the LinkedIn group, right? Just type in the Google page ProThoughts LinkedIn group. You'll get a LinkedIn group. I got a lot of good information. This is especially for discipline agile only. It's not generic LinkedIn group. It's only for DA. If you could see here, and you'll have a lot of information on the certification there. Know more about it, go to the ProThoughts Solutions. There's a third website that we have. Apart from prothoughts.co.in and talkprojectmanagement.com, you got a third website, prothoughts.solution.com, where you'll have a lot of good information on webinars. Okay. Follow us through all the social media. You can stay updated. Right. Oh, we also have this is something called Lunch and Learn with ProThoughts Solution. So you can have a 1-hour session, okay, for your corporates. Typically, the reason this 1 to 2, that's a lunch break session that we do, only to ensure that you have your working lunch, not only for your stomach, but also for your mindset, right? All of you. All right. So this is a contact number and this is an email ID. You can take it down. And with that, thank you so much and have a wonderful day ahead, wonderful week ahead, wonderful weekend ahead. Have awesome time with Discipline Agile.